President Bola Tinubu has ordered a sweeping overhaul of military operations after deadly Boko Haram attack in Borno State left at least 63 people dead. While speaking on behalf of the president, Vice President Kashim Shettima expressed condolences to the victims' families, noting that the federal government will intensify security efforts. This includes deploying advanced military hardware and drones to combat terrorist threats nationwide. The Vice President also expressed confidence in the armed forces' capacity to overcome the security challenges facing the country, noting President Tinubu's approval for the acquisition of additional drones and his directive for all security agencies to intensify and review their operational strategies. To discuss this, we're joined by former spokesman for the Nigeria Air Force, Group Captain Sadeeq Shehu, retired. We also have Darlington Umoru, security analyst from Lagos. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. I will start with you, Darlington, to just give us what specific changes do you think are necessary to improve the military's response to insurgency and terrorism, and how can these changes be implemented effectively?
Well, the challenge I have is that I've said I won't be giving solutions on air anymore, because both the military and the enemies are watching. And then for each time you give solutions and what I think should be done and how they should be done, you discover that the enemies also listen, and then they run away to fortify their efforts and so on. But be that as it may, so far, I don't know, the Boko Haram and ISWAP, they have suddenly started regrouping, if you recall, since January last year. And between January last year and now, they created a lot of havoc, and particularly in the northeast, where, of course, they largely operate from. But as per solution, what we need at this point in time is area power. What the president called drones, that's talking about the unmanned area vehicles. We do not just need unmanned area vehicles that will be deployed to gather intel. What we need the most now is the combat unmanned area vehicles that can, aside from gathering artificial intelligence, that can also corroborate with the human intelligence on ground, and then take out this enemy. We need to go to them. We do not need for them to come out in their guerrilla warfare to exhibit their strength, on target areas, target towns, target villages, target clans, and then we begin to react at the end of the day. A lot of intel gathering is required at this instance, and then the Air Force needs to increase its area bombardment once these areas are discovered, particularly when there are no kidnapped victims that could be used as shields, to cover up these enemies. So the moment the area bombardment is carried out, then the clearance on ground should be taken over by both the army and naval as a combined team of the military. I think that's the way we can begin to think of how to achieve all of this. Now, we have talked about the unmanned area vehicles. We also need a lot of equipment, modern equipment, particularly with the use of the AI, that can help us, locate these enemies where they are, and then Air Force area bombardment, unmanned combat UAVs to be deployed.
All right. We still don't have Group Captain Sadeeq Shehu. As soon as he joins us, we will introduce him to the conversation. But before we continue, Mr. Umoru, I wanted to pick your thoughts on this repeat order by the president to the military to overhaul their security operations. Most times when we have, mass killings like we witnessed over the weekend, and then you have cases, repeated cases of violence and citizens being harmed, it does not seem to translate to long-term solutions, because it seems before you know what is happening, the order is given again. What is missing? Is the president's order missing some technicalities, perhaps, that could have made things different? Or should he not be announcing this call to the military to overhaul the architecture every time?
To agree and start from the last statement you made. You see, the moment Mr. President makes some of these statements, it reduces before the enemies the strength of the Nigerian military arrangement. Like each time you talk about overhaul, you know, it gives Boko Haram and Israel or the bandits the impression that the army is losing the battle. I do not expect Mr. President to keep reiterating this kind of statement. Rather, whether the military is having it not too right in certain areas, we need to also use propaganda as part of this war by, always putting out talks and stories that will give the enemies the impression that damages are happening in some other quarters, perhaps where they are not aware. So instill some measure of fear in their camps. But for each time Mr. President is talking about overhauling, changing this and changing this and calling this and calling for that, these are things that could be done in the boardroom, in the meeting, where all of them will gather. You sit and then you look at the chiefs in their faces and tell them, come on, boys, we know you're doing well, but you need to do more. But these are not the kind of things which you continue to find in the press. Don't forget that these enemies talking about this criminal element, that they also read and they also have their intel department that helps them gather intelligence and they also help them achieve their hit points.
Okay, so I'm curious as to your suggestion.
That Mr. President will talk about.
Yeah, Mr. Umoru, I'm curious as to your suggestion about the use of propaganda, but I will come to you to ask that subsequently. Let's just bring in Group Captain Shehu, retired, to give us his perspective on this renewed call to overhaul our security in the country and to address the situation in Borno State. What were your initial thoughts to the marching orders being given by the president in light of what has happened over the weekend? What happened, rather, over the weekend?
Thank you very much. First, I commiserate with the people of Borno State. Both civilians and military have lost their lives. But again, we must say honestly that not only in this government, even during the former government of Buhari, we have been seeing these marching orders, either from the president or from National Assembly, passing a vote of no confidence, or we have been hearing rebase the security architecture, and so on and so forth. But in all honesty, all these are just words, because they are not being followed by action. And you spoke about short-term or long-term. Yes, it's very easy for the president to come and say, after an attack,
all right.
Security into the same.
We have to interject.
There is no.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I think that it's better a bit. Okay, I think we
not enough men, not enough equipment. Because if you remember, what the president. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Attack in area A, carry more troops or carry more equipment to area A. Where are you going to carry those equipment and troops? You are going to take them from area B, which also area B is having a problem. So tomorrow again, if there's attack on area B, you say carry from area C. So in all.
Unfortunately, we cannot continue with the audio from Group Captain. We really apologize for that hitch. Hopefully we can continue with it subsequently if there's an improvement, but for now we'll stay with Mr. Umoru. You expressed worry about, this order and the fact that it might embolden these terrorists and bandits who go about committing crime. You also talked about the use of propaganda. However you look at it, the media space is, everybody uses it for their purpose. The federal government saying these things, doesn't it have any positive impact in the psyche of the military, or should they employ another mechanism?
It does not give any advantage to the military. You can imagine the men in the field, the men at the theater, carrying out these operations against the enemy. And then you are telling them that they are not doing well. You are killing the morale. There's what is called upping the morale of. When you continue to say these things, some of them will get discouraged. What we need is enough equipment and welfare for these persons to be encouraged, for their morals to be boosted. Give them modern equipment. Give them modern equipment. Give them modern equipment. Equipment that will enable them to gather intel, equipment that will make them be able to stand in battle against this.
Mr. Umoru, are you being quite fair when you say give them modern equipment? Are you saying, implying in some way that this administration or the federal government generally has not provided the army, the military, our security agencies with adequate equipment to do their jobs? If that is the case, why?
That is not what I'm implying. What I'm trying to tell you is that by the day, by the weeks, by the month, equipment are modernized. When it comes to warfare equipment, they are taking different shapes. We need to cope with the current equipment, modern equipment being chunked out by factories, particularly in those countries where they are manufactured. By that, we will be. Once upon a time, we hadn't anything like combat UAV. But today we have what is called combat UAVs. Once upon a time, we had Mach 4. Today we do not use Mach 4 to execute warfare anymore. They are outdated and have become obsolete. So we have to follow the trend and we have to go with the trend, whether you like it or not. Terrorists are in Nigeria, parties are in Nigeria, and we need to take them out. We need modern equipment for the airport. We need modern equipment for Navy.
Okay, I think you made your point there, Mr. Umoru, that it's not about not having, but continuously upgrading as the need applies. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
My pleasure once again.